Hi there, this is Red Joy, and today we're going to talk about character health and their impact on their actions. We've all been there. You've brought your big bad down to 5 points out of 120, and they're at death's door. You're not doing too great either. You only have 21 hit points left out of 40, and you've used up all of your healing potions. Then, across the battlefield, the big bad screams down with massive bonuses and hits your character with not a great roll, but a roll that just does enough to hit you and has full damage against you, knocking you out completely and causing a total party kill. But that was from a big bad that had less than 5% of their health left. I mean, what the heck happened? Shouldn't they be practically dying? One would think that any character that is close to death and severely weakened, kind of like a boxer who's on the verge of getting knocked out, they might swing randomly, they might slip on their own blood or their own fluids that are dropping out of them, they might even start blinking and changing colors rapidly. Well, if you believe Konami. Almost all characters get weaker as they lose health or stamina. Hit points are supposed to be indicators of how close to death your character is, or how close to being driven unconscious or out of the fight. This is particularly useful in combat situations, but it doesn't realistically portray how this can impact a person in their daily life. Hit points are used almost unilaterally, from Dungeons and Dragons to Diablo to any sort of game that tries to measure a person's health and a person's ability to carry on in a fight. One game that I play is called The Savage Soul, and they don't use conventional hit points like other games do. They have injury tiers based on how hard hits are and how much damage that they have left before they go unconscious. And the tiers go something like this. Uninjured or barely injured means that you might have a couple of bumps and scrapes, but your character is just about able to do everything normally in combat. Injured means that there's been some harm done. This can be something like a broken arm or some broken ribs. It's going to impact their ability, but you're going to still be able to carry on in the fight. And in Savage Soul, you're going to get a -1 to all of your rolls. There's severely injured, which means that you're not doing so great. Maybe that broken arm has also broken your hand, and maybe those broken ribs are puncturing a lung. And they're at the next level of being injured, which is like a -2 in Savage Soul, but you can tell it's having more impact than the original injury. Then, of course, there's critically injured, which a character is in mortal danger, right? They can potentially lose their life just by making a single action, by bleeding out, or they can go unconscious at any time. And so when rolls are made by critically injured characters, that are a -3, and this is the last stage before a character dies. In addition, any successful hit that a character gets, even if it's something that would not even really injure them that much, has a potential to stun a target for a round. And this could be a sideways glance or just something even that could be kind of a minor distraction that would cause them to not be involved in combat for a single turn. And so if the hit is hard enough, it will stun the character. And if it's really hard enough and it's a single hit, it could potentially knock them unconscious right at the start of the fight. These rolls are made against willpower, and they determine how much an injury directly impacts their ability to continue in the fight. So, looking back at that big bad at the beginning of the video, you see that that big bad probably would be swinging more wildly. They'd be trying to keep their insides in, trying to make sure that they don't just collapse there, and maybe even at that point deciding to plead for mercy and plead for, okay, hey, you beat me, throw me in jail, rather than full-on fight to the last second with full strength and cause an amazing knockout blow. The injury conditions that are seen in games like Savage Soul, and I think older versions of Resident Evil, would give you an example of how much damage someone has been taken, and also give you an element of understanding how their actions are impacted by their injuries. And you can use this sort of system of injury tiers in any system, even with those that use hit points. For example, if you were playing a game of Dungeons and Dragons and if a character reaches 50% hit points or lower, you could give them disadvantage on all of their rolls. And if they're at 10%, then any action they take could render them unconscious from the fight. And you could play it multiple different ways, with different percentages, of course, based on how your table might feel about using injury conditions. But with that said, I think Savage Soul is a system that already has this injury condition layout set up, so you should definitely give it a shot. I left the link of the rules and the website in the description below. So that's going to wrap us up for today. I hope you got a chance to enjoy that and understand that this is also conveying real life too. Like, people don't go into a hospital and say, he's only got 5 hit points left out of 120. No, they say that the person is critically injured or they're severely wounded. So we are trying to be a little more realistic with how people actually talk about injury and how they actually would describe it in a medical sense versus, or a professional sense, versus a mathematical, analytical, top-down, I'm a gamer playing the game sense. Well, I hope that you enjoyed the video. And if you did, leave the video a like. Give a comment down below whether you agree or you disagree, or subscribe to the channel. I put up a lot of videos with gaming or RPG content. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Take care and good luck. We're all counting on you.